Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. One of the casualties of the COVID pandemic, at least in our area, is our Saturday morning once a month get together where we did practical hands-on wood turning. And we just meet up at somebody's shop and share ideas and share some practical experience. I miss that. So when it comes time to solve problems, I'm on my own. So I'm going to ask for your input to this situation. So as I do more and more with segmenting, I like to have thinner rings. I think it gives it a better look and feel. And so I'm now exploring ways to make thin rings. Of course, if you read the books on segmented wood turning, they talk about milling it down and having it this thin so that you can glue up a ring with it. But what they don't tell you is that you nearly always have to clean up something on the ring to get even started, and so it will never be to that dimension anyway. So then they say, well, if you want it thinner, put it on the lathe and turn it down, spin it down. Well, that's a fair amount of work, but you waste all that wood, especially if you want them as thin as this. So you're wasting wood. Next alternative, chuck it up somehow onto the lathe and use a parting tool. Well, I've done that. It tends to be a little bit exciting once you break through into the center and that loose piece starts spinning around on the spindle and may even break. So I'd like to reduce that level of excitement. So the next choice that I've seen is a bandsaw. And in fact, one of the turners that you've seen as a guest on my channel, Frank, does it very, very well on his bandsaw. Couple of provisos, however. One, he has perfectly tuned his bandsaw. Mine's not perfectly tuned. He also has a special blade that is the only blade he uses for segmented, and he doesn't use anything else on that blade. And then he only does stuff actually smaller than this on that. And he does that well. But I'd like to do it, I'm a little bit afraid of the bandsaw with bigger material. I've done it, you've seen it here on my video, but the problem is you've got to have the saw blade perfectly tuned or you're cutting a slanted ring. And this space on the big ring gives you ample opportunity to reach into that blade and let it grab you. And I don't like my blood showing on the outside. So I want to find another way. So thought about the table saw. Well, that's a bit of an issue also. But when you have those issues, you solve them with jigs. So I have prepared now a jig that I hope will work well on the table saw. You can give me input to it in a bit, but essentially it is a large box. And on this side I'll be able to mount the ring, and on the other side it's just there to ride against the rip fence. Therefore this can make adjustable sizes without having to ride the miter gauge or having a special sizing opportunity. So essentially the whole box here is to be stable and then be able to position a bolt through. Then I have a few accessories here. This one is a hold down, so when the ring is on the bigger side, it can hold the ring to the side here. And if it's small, which tends to be a special case, I have another clamp here that can span that, and we can put some pressure on here. And then some various accessories, spacers, that hopefully I can use in clamping situations to make this thing work. So that's what I've got to date. I'll demonstrate it here in a minute with a large and a smaller ring, and let's see how it works. You tell me what you would do differently. Okay, so for this now, I have a bolt through here. I want to make sure that the saw blade and the bolt never intersect. That's a bad deal. So I want to make sure the saw blade is well below the bolt, which it is. And then put the ring put a board across to hold the ring, and then let's cinch it down. Try the smaller ring. Now the smaller ring, you can't put the bolt in the center because it may intersect. So I'm going to use a different strategy to hold it down. Swap the bolt for a bigger one, and I'm going to put it, say, here. And use one of these. Use this one. Actually, I think that's better. There you have it. Thinner rings out of bigger rings. I can use them in multiple projects or in the same project, whichever. So for now, let's try and have a better 2021 than we did in 2020, and let's keep on turning. Have a good one.